single one of you a bracha. Every one of you should be zoicha to sit with children and grandchildren at a Seder table. So a couple years ago, my grandson today, he was already learning in Long Beach, but at that time he was 3 years old. Armo, you know he is Avram Pfeiffer. So Avram was 3 years old at that time. So, you know, the 3-year-old obviously can't follow the Seder. And, you know, he's running in and out. Just as we're about to say the Hisha Omer, which is the most happy part of the Seder, Avram comes over to me and he says, Zaidi, can I sit on your lap? No, I can tell you, B'it Hashem, you won't be Zaydis. When you're a little Einikel wants to sit on your lap, there's no question about it. I said, Avram, come right here. So I pick up my kosh with the right hand, I pick up Avram with my left hand, and I put him on my lap, and we start singing the Hisha Omer. And as we're singing the Hisha Omer, I'm starting to say the words, and all of a sudden I start crying. And I can't hold myself back. And when you want to hold yourself back from crying, it just comes more. And everybody's looking at me. I'm the leader of the Seder. What are you crying about? This is such a happy time. Like, what can you be crying about the Hisha Omer? And the reason that I was crying was because I was saying, not one nation is trying to get rid of us. It never ends. But our God told us it never ends. And I'm thinking of we lost 6 million. We lost so many Israelis and all the wars and all the terror. It's not enough. It never stops. What's going to be with this kid and all the kids his age? The young boys and the young girls and the future generation. But our God tells us it never stops. I just was so distraught. Of course, I carried myself. I caught myself when we finished the rest of the Seder. After the Seder was finished, everybody went upstairs. I opened up every single Haggadah that I had. And I had to find some lichom. For this terrible, terrible thing. Of course, at the end, it says, but the Chidah, you know what the Chidah says? He says, what is the Haggadah talking about? Take a look at America. 70,000 at the Siyam HaShas. The next Siyam HaShas will have 100,000 people all over. We have Bishaka, we have Krohn, nobody's killing us. You go to Antwerp, you go to South Africa, you gotta have outside the shul, you gotta have people with guns. You don't have anybody here like that. We can do whatever we want. We live in a free country. America, Canada, England. It's wonderful. So what does Haggadah mean? And the Chidah gives a Gemara Geteretz. He says sometimes it's not the sword, it's the smile. Because Jennifer can get a job in any college. Jennifer can get a job in any place. So what happens? Then what happens? That through the smile, 50% of Jewish marriages today are intermarriage. There's more assimilation in America today than there ever was. They're killing us? No, just the opposite, the smile. And the next day, the next 2 days later was Chomoid, had a bris out in Long Island. Of all places, it was called Mount Sinai. The father's a girl, the Napolitano. The mother's a Yid. The Bobby and Zaidi wanted to have a bris. After the bris, I turned around. I wish I would have had a camera. Rabbi Gifter, you should have been there. Wouldn't believe it. On the table, a blue box of Horowitz margarita matzahs. Right next to the matzahs is a bagel platter. Right next to the bagel platter is a meat platter. Right next to the meat platter is a cheese platter. Every issue that you can think of. Morsel, chametz, matzah, treif, everything. It's all there at this Heilige bris.
Oh my God.
And I'm thinking, what does God say about a bris like this? What does you all know He say at a bris like this? How did this happen? You know how it happened? Because of the smile. Because Napolitano could get to any Jewish country club. Because we live in a free society. That's what you got to tell the kids. Tell them. Tell them what the Point of Yisrael said. The Point of Yisrael asked them to follow your kasha. Gives a fabulous teretz. The Point of Yisrael asked. It's a shlach yodecha mimorek. Hashem, David HaMelech says in Tehillim Kufman Daled Zayin. Hashem, please send your hand from above. Help me from the goyim that are like stormy waters. The Torah Mishra says, yeah, but it says in Evadia, behind the sack of age, but by says of Lahava, Yidden are a fire. Drink the Torah Mishra of goyim, my water. Yidden are fire. What happens when goyim, when water and fire get together, the water puts out the fire. Is that what the future is of Klal Yisrael? That water's going to put out the fire, and there'll be no Yidden? Zot the Heilige Torah Mishra. When does water put out the fire? When they touch each other. But what if you got a pot in the middle? You got a mechitz in the middle. Oh, you got a pot. Then the water controls the fire. Then the fire rather controls the water. The fire underneath, it can draw out the water and make the whole water dissipate. You can't have a mechitza. That's what the walls of the Beis Medrash are. That's the walls of your home are. You have to be careful what you allow into your homes. What media, what the kids could look at. The walls have to be a mechitza. If they're not a mechitza, chas v'sholom, the water's touching the fire, and the water will chas v'sholom put out the fire. But anyway, listen to this. I know you're not going to believe this. What does it mean, sensitivity? Listen, Yisrael, all the lack of it. You know, I told you I was in the hospital. You know, shot up with morphine, can't move my legs. And somebody calls me up. I couldn't believe this. Somebody who I'm close to. He says, you know, it was Mamish Kedai that you fell. And I was thinking, like, it was Kedai that I fell. What am I, like a kapara for Klal Yisrael? I said, what did you say? He said, yeah, it was Kedai that you fell. I said, why do you say that? He said, because now everybody can say, I fell on Sukkot. I'm in the Beis Medrash, I don't want to say what I thought. What ridiculous comment is that? So a guy who's sitting in a hospital, who's got to wear braces for 2.5 months, and can't bend his legs. And then there was another chacham who called me. I was supposed to go to a wedding. We were all supposed to go to the same wedding. I couldn't go, obviously. So this whole group, they're all in the car, they're all on speakerphone, they're having such a great time. And one of the people gets on the phone, you know, and I'm housing because they're all laughing and having a great time driving to this wedding out of town. And this person says to me, you know, we were just thinking about it. You know, it's really wonderful. I'm thinking, like, what is wonderful? He says, because now you won't be able to put your foot in your mouth in your next speech. Isn't that great? Is that sensitive? It's a lack of sensitivity. Okay, that person 2 weeks later, they called to apologize. I guess they felt, you know, in my response, which I didn't say anything. I swore to myself I would never say anything to that person because that person's a wonderful person and they meant it as a joke, which I didn't take it as a joke at that time. Maybe today I could laugh. How is it, even in this Beis Medrash tonight, upstairs and downstairs, there's so many people that are Holocaust survivors? How do these people from the Holocaust, how did they build children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren? Look how many of us are survivors, are descendants of the survivors. How did that happen? And he gave an answer. At the first, the answer sounds strange, but I say it over at that God, and you should give over this message. He said the answer is B'damai Chayi. What does that mean? B'damai Chayi, you say by a bris, and you say by the night of the Seder. It's in the Haggadah. So the simple meaning is B'damai Chayi. When Yidden had a bris milah, they had to leave Mitzrayim, they had to have bris. So they're brought by a bris, but they had Mesiras Nefesh. B'damai, the discourse of Damila, they lived. B'damai Chayi, by the Shechting of the Korban Pesach, the Shabsalah, that was a Goyim Tabay the Zorah, there was blood. There was Mesiras Nefesh. Chayi, they lived because of that discourse of the Shechit of Korban Pesach. So now, but what's it got to do with the answer? Zok the Herod, Rosenberg and Rabbi Chalish from this answer. He said, B'damai doesn't only mean in their blood. B'damai comes from the word Vayidayim, quiet. What does the Torah say by Aaron HaKohen when he lost his 2 children? Vayidayim Aaron. Aaron was quiet. Zok the Herod and Rosenberg and Rabbi who lost the wife and 11 children. B'damai, in their quietness, when they didn't focus on the negative. Chayi, they were able to live, they were able to build. How many of us have to tell the children and the guests at the Seder table? We go through difficulties in life. Every single one of us here is challenged. That's what Golus is about. Nobody gets away scot-free. No one. Even if you think they do, that's because you don't know their private lives. We're all challenged. A person, so many times, we just throw it in and say, Hashem, if this is what you got in store for me, I'm out of here. Be quiet. Don't focus on the negative. Oh, Chayi, there's so much good that we have in life. Focus on the positive. Chayi, then come alive. And that's what they did. And that's how they were able to build children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So I just want to end just with this thought.